Yo, what's up guys, you new here. So today we are here with a different kind of reaction video. I did this before but I didn't really do more this kind of content because I don't really want to steal views from other content creators. So don't worry though, I will not steal views from content creation today. I'm gonna steal a little bit, just a little bit of views from their content, but we're gonna react to one of a video from a fellow Zenless Zone Zero creator, Flossin. Honestly, I don't remember if I uploaded my Flossin reactions on the channel before. I don't remember, but Flossin is one of those creator that is very vocal about the game, very he really loves the game, that he will be vocal about criticisms about the game itself. And today it seems like he wanna tackle the sad reality of attack agent in Zenless Zone Zero, and I think I already know what he's gonna talk about. I think he's gonna talk about how, compared to Anomaly, how underwhelming attack agent right now in the game, which is super true, by the way. If you guys play the game and actually test characters in the game, some of you guys will notice that attack characters specifically are very underwhelming compared to the DPS from Anomaly. I think one good example for this, of course we're not gonna make Miyabi an example. One good example for this is Yanagi, a very good Anomaly, still aging very well, aged like fine wine. Is she still at the top of the tier list, and didn't really fall down at all until now, or maybe in the future. I don't know when that's gonna happen, but she's still going strong. She's one of a good characters that are very comparable to attack. There's she's still there at the top of the tier list, and some of the attack DPS that got released few patches ago already go down. One of the big, of course, obvious one are our girl Anby and Harumasa. Those are famous character that fell down, and I think you already guys see the pattern recognition. Most of them are electric characters, which is crazy, by the way. But you know what, let's have Flossin explain what he thinks about the situation for attack agents in Zenless Zone Zero.
What's up guys, it's Flossin.
Also, by the way, like, comment, and subscribe. Link in the description below for the original video. Make sure you watch Flossin's video to support him. Also like his video, by the way. Also like this reaction video. Comment down below what you think about my opinions about what he's gonna
guys?
say.
It's Flossin.
Yo,
so,
Flossin.
Anomaly has taken the game by storm. And honestly, this isn't really a surprise to anyone.
Yeah.
Anomaly has been strong ever since the release of Jane Doe. But what has me surprised the most is the massive difference between Anomaly agents and every other DPS archetype.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's not even any DPS archetype. I feel like Rapture right now is still we still don't know the standard for Rapture. We already know the standard for attack characters, but we still don't know the standard for Rapture agent, because let's be honest, Yishuan is not the standard for a Rapture agent, and we will know the standard for Rapture agent next patch, because Lucia is gonna come for support, maybe a support for Rapture. Minato is gonna come too as an A rank Rapture. Ice Rapture also for my girl Yidhari. We're gonna see the standard Rapture baseline for them, or how Rapture really works in the game, because Yishuan is not a good indicator for that, and we cannot judge it or compare it to the game right now, or the other archetype right now. But yeah, the big difference between Anomaly and attack agents are very big. Even though I will say this, Even though Attack Agent has been glazed a lot by Zenless Zone Zero devs, they've been getting a lot of like playstyle, like double stun. They be getting double stun. They be getting right now they literally just got dual DPS playstyle, which is crazy. They've been glazed a lot by the Zenless Zone Zero devs. That honestly I don't know what's happening with Attack, that they cannot keep up with Anomaly's destructive DPS. You know, which is crazy to think about that, because like it's been a while since we get Anomaly DPS in the game. Like literally we just been getting like sub DPS support. That's I think that's it from like Anomaly that we've been getting lately.
Or specifically attack agents.
Yep.
Now, with the recent addition of Vivian with her blooms,
Oh yeah, I forgot about Alice. I'm sorry, Alice, bro. I'm sorry, Alice. Alice is very good. Is a very good DPS too. Forget
and
about
Alice
her.
bringing her polarity assaults, I think it's a perfect time to finally open the door to this discussion. So today, I want to talk about Anomaly versus attack agents.
Yeah.
We'll cover what makes Anomaly strong, the way it cheats the game, and maybe a few possible solutions that could actually help attack agents keep up.
Yeah, I think the big difference mainly about Anomaly and Attack is just Anomaly is just rule break, or not really rule breaking, but their architect is more suitable for a DPS. And I said this before, I feel like if they made Anomaly Agent as a sub DPS for Attack, I feel like Attack Agent would get more buff instead of like Anomaly being a DPS. Of course, that's the thing though. Anomaly is gonna be too strong as a DPS, so that's why, like I said, they should be sub DPS instead. But that didn't really happen, and they just did like Anomaly DPS. They just continue with the archetype, which is good. By the way, I don't complain because I'm an Anomaly like build guy. I really like Anomaly, so like I don't care. But also I do want Attack to be better, so I feel like Anomaly Agents being a sub DPS for Attack would be a good idea. They gave us another like role or DPS role, which is Rapture, which is technically an Attack and Anomaly combined. Not really Anomaly combined, but you know what I mean, especially for each one.
Actually help attack agents keep up. If you find this video informative or just enjoy it at all,
Yeah.
be sure to drop a like and subscribe. It's completely free and lets me know you enjoy this type of
Yay.
content. Now, with formalities out of the way, let's talk games.
Yep.
Okay, so before we even mention attack agents, I think it's important to highlight why Anomaly agents dominate Zenless so heavily. And the biggest reason is their ease of use.
Yes.
Anomaly agents are, hands down, the easiest characters to pick up for both new and
Yes, for casual players, the Anomaly is the best. It's like there is it's baby games basically. It's baby games and easy damage also. And I think that's also one of the problem. They're easy to make. They're easy characters to use and to learn, and they deal big damage. But when you go into Attack, some of them are hard to use, and some of their damage is very reliant to other characters. And of course, Anomaly does that too, but also like it on Attack rolls itself, it relies more, and especially with the rotation of like stun windows and stuff, like it matters more, or the mechanics itself are like holding them down, which is kind of making the role underwhelming in my opinion. I feel like
veteran players. Their core gameplay loop is very simple. Fill the anomaly gauge, trigger a status effect,
yep,
and watch the damage tick.
you don't
Burn for
even
fire,
need to
shock for electric,
worry about stun.
corrupted for ether. The effects are pretty obvious.
You can just
and the
ult
gauge itself
whenever.
acts as a built-in
When the
progress
when the
bar
ult is
for
gone,
players.
when the
On
ult
top
is
of
up,
that,
just click
the
it.
system encourages you to swap between agents.
Yeah.
You build one anomaly, switch to another to keep the build-up going, and eventually hit a disorder. The constant back and forth makes piloting them intuitive and satisfying. Now, Anomaly at its core is very, very simple, but this archetype can also be super complex.
Yes.
And I think that's what makes it so fascinating. At a surface
Yes.
level, there
Bro, mono eyes is what makes Anomaly such a good attack or like DPS archetype. It's because it shows you how much complex Anomaly really is. It's not just, of course, it's more on like, oh, proc this, proc Anomaly, proc disorder. Of course, that's most of it. But how do you make Anomaly in Zenless Zone Zero? You can be casual on it, and you can also be hardcore with that archetype, which is super cool.
They're plug and play, but if you want to master it, that's where the complexity
Yep.
starts to show. Just take Miyabi, for example.
Mono
Her Fall
Eyes.
and Frost stacks encourage you to stack 6 as quickly as possible for max damage. But at higher levels of play, sometimes you want to get rid of 2 to 4 stacks, so you're never wasting buildup or damage during your rotations.
Yeah.
Another example is Vivian. Most players just trigger her a Bloom and move on, but if you really know her kit, you can maximize Bloom stacks with a full basic attack string, instead of relying on EX specials, chain attacks, or ultimates
Yes.
to refill her meter. So yeah, Anomaly is beginner friendly, but also one of the hardest archetypes to truly optimize, especially when you're
I wouldn't say. I feel like attack more is more harder than Anomaly. I feel like how Anomaly or how hard the complexity for Anomaly is just literally the like in the middle of the scale basically.
chasing high scores in Shiyu defense or deadly assault. So versatility aside, what actually makes Anomaly so dominant against attack agents? Well, it's pretty simple actually. Anomaly cheats the game.
Yes.
And here's what I mean
It feels like cheating
by
if you
cheating.
play Anomaly.
Attack agents, at their core, are tied directly to
Yes.
stun windows. Their entire kit revolves around dazing enemies, waiting
Yes, that's also like the most like limiting about attack, because some of the characters, if you know some of the characters that is like very on feed a lot compared to like burst DPS, they still don't deal that much damage with like without like the stun window, and they still need to rely on the stun window to deal more damage. That's their whole gimmick. As much as like the devs want like their own fake characters to deal more damage, outside of it, most of the damage is gonna come from stun window either way, and Anomaly just doesn't have that kind of problem.
for the stun, and then dumping all of their resources.
And I think it's fair that Zenless Zone Zero devs glaze attack more because they do have that problem. Or is that really a problem? More on like that rotation or that mechanic have some flaws, which Anomaly doesn't really have that flaws because they didn't make the problem itself, or they just completely avoid the problem. That's why it's like feels like
for
cheating.
massive burst damage. That's the intended gameplay loop. However, Anomaly agents just ignore that.
Yeah.
They don't need to wait for a stun to deal meaningful damage. They're constantly applying pressure and chipping away at the enemy's health bar with their status effects. And sure, you can still dump resources in the stun window, but outside of major bosses, most enemies are already dead before they even get
Yes.
stunned, and that alone gives Anomaly a huge advantage. They basically skip one of the game's most important mechanics entirely. But to be fair, Anomaly does have its own rules to follow. Their damage is tied to the Anomaly gauge, so you still need to build up and are already dead before they even get stunned, and that alone gives Anomaly a huge advantage. They basically skip one of the game's most important mechanics entirely.
Yes.
But to be fair, Anomaly does have its own rules to follow. Their damage is tied to the Anomaly gauge.
Yes. And the Anomaly gauge, as much as I know, Anomaly, on how much you proc like elemental Anomaly, it does have some cooldown, but that cooldown is nearly non-existent because you will still deal a lot of damage even with that limit, with that cooldown, which is like that doesn't really make any difference.
So you still need to build up and manage that bar. It's their version of a stun window. But what if you no longer had to play around this Anomaly gauge meter? What if there was a dedicated agent that could increase any buildup of gauges just by a single
Yuzua. That's the thing though, like in my opinion, I would want Anomaly to get buff, but I feel like that's also like, oh, that's too early, because one of the reasons why I think that's too early is that we don't have that much Anomaly DPS. I will not include Miyabi. I will still not include Miyabi because Miyabi is just cheating. We still don't have enough Anomaly DPS. We only have like 3 Anomaly DPS excluding Miyabi again. 3 Anomaly DPS throughout until today, we do have a lot of attack DPS. Like we have Ellen, Zuyuan, we have Aromasa, then we have Sanbi, and we have Hugo. That's five. And I didn't really include like the stunners also, because stunners are like mostly like attack attack field, or they are being shared together mostly. So it's like I feel like we do need more anomaly DPS until we get a support like Kizua, which is like, I feel like we need balance on that. Which, you know what, Xenozone Zero, since I'm anomaly field, kudos to you, bro. Like, that's a good
press
decision.
of a button. And that's where
Oh
Yuzuha
my
comes into
god.
play. Yuzuha basically broke the system.
Yep.
She brings a 1200 attack buff, very
Similar
similar
to
to
Astra.
Astra, but her real value comes from Sweet Scare, and her additional
Additional
ability,
ability.
the more the merrier. Sweet Scare makes enemies take extra anomaly buildup from the next elemental hit.
Yep.
And then, the more the merrier boosts the squad's buildup rate and disorder damage by 20%. Combine these two, and suddenly, Anomaly teams don't even have to respect their own gauge mechanic. So yeah,
Yes.
Anomaly was already cheating by ignoring stun windows, but now they cheat their own mechanic
Yep.
too. That's why attack agents can't compete,
Yeah, you
even
cannot compete.
with Astrial on their side. So, now that we know
Though, yeah, as much usual as a cheat, though they still do have cooldown, like I said earlier. But yeah, I feel like using usual is just making that cooldown, show more, but it doesn't really affect much. Like I said,
main reasons why Anomaly is exponentially further than attack agents, what can we do? Well, the simplest and probably the most laziest solution is to create an agent that directly buffs attack archetypes. Now, I know that may confuse a couple people,
yeah, that's
because
very
Astra Yao
confusing.
should be that support, right?
Oh, no, I feel like Astraeo should not be that support. One of the reasons why is because Astraeo can still be used for Anomaly.
Well, technically she is, but Astra
Yep.
can still be used in Anomaly teams just like they can be in attack teams.
Yep.
And
Astraeo is like one of the character, like without Yuzuha, like before Yuzuha, Astraeo is like one of the slots for Anomaly.
9 times out of 10, Astra is helping those teams clear faster.
Here's my thing. I feel like what they should do for us, not for Astra, but a future attack support, they should just not give that support a attack buff, because attack buff is very universal, or like a very if they even like give us like a attack specific support, they should not give her or him a attack buff. They should make pen they should make pen buff exist more in the meta, because we all know, as much as people like say that, hey, you guys should build pen, it deals more damage. Yes, it deals more damage, but a lot of people will not build it. And I feel like we need a character, especially for attack, that can give people a push to actually build characters with pen. I feel like they should give a attack support that have pen, so they can have a lot of penetration buff, so they don't have to build as much pen on their attack DPS. They should give us crit rate or crit damage buff, because those really doesn't cannot even use for Anomaly. Of course, Miyabi, not Miyabi, excluding Miyabi, of course. And I think they should rely more on stun buff, or maybe like rest buff, like how lighter have a specific elemental rest buff. I feel like they should add that on an attack, a specified
than
support.
attack teams ever could. Of course, Yuzuha changed that, like we said,
Yep.
but Astra can still be used in Anomaly teams and see crazy success.
Yep.
Attack agents would need some type of agent that could increase the stun window multiplier,
Yeah, stun
and tie
window.
that to their additional ability.
Oh, you know what? You know what I think? You know what I think? Hey, is that what he said? Oh, he said like stun window multiplier. Here's the thing. I feel like stun window multiplier would also be like very good and OP. I feel like they should add a support that can just like how Yuzuha have like this like the flavor match markings and stuff, or like sweet scare. I feel like they should add a attack support specialize that gives a mark, and when that enemy have a mark, when that enemy get stunned, the stun window will increase 10 seconds more, so that we have a lot more, how should I say this, like a lot more duration to for like especially for enemies that have very fast stun window.
that could only be activated if you
That's a
have
good,
an
that's a
attack
good
agent
plan.
on the team. Essentially, this mystery agent would have to lock anomaly agents out of their kit completely. Now, like I said before, that's an easy but lazy solution. So what else could we do? Well, the only thing I think we can do at this point is to nerf Anomaly. And by nerf, I mean reevaluate the Anomaly gauge bar. Right now, Anomaly has no downside with their Anomaly gauge.
In anomaly, not in anomaly, but in enemy itself, I feel like they should just make a like an enemy that very specialized for attack, and you cannot use it for anomaly. Like one of those like spinny ethereal that doesn't have an anomaly bar. That's a good way, but that's a lazy and easy solution though. I feel like they should have a an enemy that switch mechanics midway the fight. I think like, like an enemy that have anomaly bar or anomaly gauge at the very start of the battle, and then just like how miasma, like they switch forms or something, but with this one they change forms and they're not gonna have a anomaly gauge. But if they have anomaly gauge, they're not gonna have a stun window. I feel like that's a good one. And then they can like I feel like the devs can also include a anomaly attack combo, which is a very good combo that they can do. And it will, here's my thing, I really like the idea of anomaly being a sub DPS for attack. So I feel like they can make that playstyle.
Even before Yuzuha
I'm
showed
just
up,
saying.
it never felt like building up the anomaly gauge was an issue. Sometimes
Yep.
you built up the anomaly bar too fast, and you would even hit the internal cooldown of triggering a anomaly or
Yes.
disorder. And that happens
It's not
way
even a
more
flaw,
now
like I
due to
said.
Yuzuha being added to the game.
That
And
cooldown
because of
doesn't
this,
even
I think in the future, we
like,
need to reconsider how much buildup enemies need to proc an anomaly on them. I think enemies, from this point in the game and further, need more anomaly resistances. Not a lot, but at least a good amount to make it feel like a similar experience to attack agents. Because
no, I feel like I still don't believe that. In my opinion, as an anomaly build guy, anomaly is actually like going down. Of course, not like if you compare it to attack, of course not. But like anomaly is actually going down the DPS itself as much, because more enemies are getting more like anomaly, uh, not anomaly resistance, but like their anomaly multiplier is not really, making anomaly stand out more. Of course, we do have the miasma fiend. That's one of the anomaly build enemy, but I feel like some of the enemies right now has been very hard for anomaly. But I feel like they should just really rely more on incentivize the use of pen, because like pen is like one of those stats that are not really been used for characters as well, for agents, and I feel like it could rely more on attack. It could be a way to make attack deal more damage, and I feel like they should just make pen, better. Like imagine if you have like a small attack window, because like a small stun window because of like pen, you know?
currently, the anomaly gauge
It's a
is
good
something they
idea.
usually don't have to worry about during combat, because it's always being procced super easily. This obviously would cause less anomalies during combat, as well as less disorders, and I know a lot of people wouldn't like this solution.
Yeah, it's a very lazy solution in my opinion.
But when we take a look at the agents they've been releasing in Anomaly, this class just keeps getting better and better. Jane is able to crit with her Anomaly, Yanagi
To be honest, the crit doesn't. Jane Doe's crit doesn't even like. It's been there since the launch of the game, but it's not really that much.
is able to proc Disorder without another Anomaly, and now Alice is able to trigger Polarized Assault, again
I
without
mean,
anybody
yeah.
else's help. We know that this class will only get better with time, And because of that, it might start to make our current attack agents feel obsolete in the in-game combat.
Here's my thing. I agree with that. Attack itself has been getting obsolete as time passes. Even though Zenless Zero devs has been glazing it with like Aftershock, with like the two stun playstyle, dual DPS team. They've been glazing it a lot, but it is still cannot compare to how what Anomaly can do. And I think Rapture is also one of those roles that might be making attack also more obsolete as time passes, and we will see it when Yudhari comes out, especially Manato, because it's gonna show like Manato is actually the characters that are gonna show like is Rapture really that strong, if the role is gonna be that strong, especially for an A rank character, because I feel like we already know like Manato's gonna be a DPS, she's a Rapture, you know.
Making a big chunk of our roster feel meaningless to play.
I feel like it's gonna show
and
the
as
real.
a wise man once told me,
It's gonna show the real like future of attack itself.
I struggle in combat when I can just cheat. And that wise man was me.
Yep.
Yep, it was me. But in all seriousness, if hoyoverse keeps dropping characters like Alice without balancing the gauge or enemy resistances, I think Anomaly could really get out of hand very easily.
Oh yeah. It already got out of hand when Miyabi came out, which like, bro, she's so strong. And even like when Jane Doe came out, like Jane Doe is like one of the best DPS when Jane Doe came out, and like she already like dominates like the attack agent in the game when she comes out, and she's been that way since 1.3. Didn't really change. And of course, she got power creep, but she's still fucking strong. She's still freaking strong until today.
But yeah, I think that's enough yapping out of me. Guys, after Alice's release, Anomaly has for sure piqued my interest. I'm still gonna be pulling for my.
I mean, bro, like you guys, bro, this is my thing. Me and ALG, we like Anomaly, bro. And you guys like, oh, talk shit about like you guys talk your shit about like Anomaly here and there because it's a very lazy DPS. But come on, like, is it really? Is it really? It's just cheating. That's the thing. It's not lazy. It's cheating. And if the devs gives you the way to cheat the game, use it, bro. They gave you the incentive to do it. Just use it.
Mobile Squad teammates,
You know?
Seed and Orpheus, but I'll be keeping a close eye on what Anomaly has to offer from here on out. Now, there's a lot that we spoke about in this video, and because of that, this whole thing has me really curious. What do you guys think? How do you feel about Anomaly versus attack agents?
Here's the thing though, like I keep saying this again and again, just make an Anomaly agent that is a sub DPS for attack. So that way we can balance the playing field. Because the thing is, we will have less Anomaly DPS as time passes, which is kinda good for attack. Because we're gonna have like a lot more competition for DPS. We're gonna have a lot more attack DPS agent. And then Anomaly can focus more on being a sub DPS for attack, which mean helping attack instead of helping Anomaly. Of course, they can, like the Anomaly sub DPS can still like make the other Anomaly DPS better, but also it will benefit attack more. Instead, if they make a mechanic that can make Anomaly work with attack agent. One of the big example is like making attack Anomaly deal more damage. Of course, not comparable to Anomaly DPS that we have right now, but deal like at least like half of the damage of like the Anomaly DPS that we have, so that they have the incentive to like attack while the sun window is still not there. I feel like that's a good decision. Just saying.
Agree or disagree with anything I said? And do you have any solutions that could equalize the two archetypes in the game? Let me know in the comments down below.
Like I said, to equalize it, make the role work for the other role. No need to change the how strong it is. Just move the scale a little bit. That's the thing.
Also, big shout out to my Discord boosters and YouTube members. You guys are the ones that make these.
Yay! I think this is the end of the video, and make sure you guys like and subscribe on Flossin. Very good video, by the way. I really like the video. gonna give it a like. So make sure you guys like his video. What do people say? New defile boss take less than damage for us attribute anomalies, so they're already supporting attack agent in a way. Is lining up to be huge attacker luck support, but then beta nerf, just alright. Hot take, add impair mechanics to all attack agents, dealing enough damage, impaired. Yeah, I mean, yeah, impaired will work too, but I feel like they should make pen really more into attack, because people just don't use pen enough on the game. And by the way, pen is strong. The pen stats is very strong, so I feel like they should do it more. But anyways, that's it for today's video. Like, comment, subscribe. Again, link in the description below for the original video for flossing on you. Make sure you subscribe on his channel. And yeah, that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching, and I'm gonna see you guys later. Bye bye.